Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're very glad that you've joined us for our show again this week. We're always happy that there are people like you out there that are interested in the issues that are happening in Northwest Community Television's viewing area, because it is important for good government that residents and city councils and mayors are in conversation back and forth with each other. Now we're moved into election year, and one of the areas where you're going to be asked to make some decisions on elections is with city councils, with mayors and city council people. So we're going to be, over the next couple months, for September and October, we'll be having candidates on from the 8 cities in our area that have elections happening, and give you information so you can prepare and decide who's the best person that you want to vote for. So we'll encourage you, if somebody's on from your city, take down their name and their phone number and their email, and then if you've got questions or concerns or ideas, be sure to share it with them. I'm sure all of our candidates up here would be happy to hear from people out there. So we're glad that you're with us, and now we'll share with you information from Marquita Butler, who's here from Brooklyn Center.
Hello.
And Julie Desh, who's here from Crystal, and Susan Pa, I worked on that one, from Brooklyn Park. So we're glad that all 3 of you have joined us again tonight and are going to share your thoughts and help the audience out there start thinking about who should I vote for my city council. And we'll start with Marquita.
Okay, great.
We're glad that you're with us again. You're with us tonight, and you know that I asked you first to think about your background and how it's prepared you for the city council. So why don't you tell our audience out there a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Marquita Butler. I'm running for city council in Brooklyn Center. I grew up in Brooklyn Center. I attended Earl Brown as well as Brooklyn Center High School. I received a bachelor's of communication from Augsburg, and then a master's of arts in cultural and educational policy studies from Loyola University of Chicago. I'm currently the director of partnerships and extended day in North Minneapolis for a charter management organization where we have 3 schools. And so my background has been in corporate America as well as education. And so I feel that my experience educationally as well as in the business world has prepared me to help those conversations and shape the economic development of Brooklyn Center. Having conversations with schools, I'm very passionate about education and ensuring that our children in our community have the best education. I had a great education from Brooklyn Center, and I hope that they're continuing that, and I want to be able to shape those conversations about raising our standards and closing the achievement gap. And then lastly, the partnership management experience, using that to bring partners into the city that can help reshape our image of Brooklyn Center and help with the community engagement.
Thank you very much. Now, I gave all of them a list of different issues, areas, and asked them to pick out a few that they'd like to share their thoughts and ideas with you out there. So what's the first issue that you picked out of that list?
So the redevelopment one stuck out for me. So one thing that I've, in doing the research about Brooklyn Center, the redevelopment of and continuing of the Shingle Creek area where Brookdale used to be. It's in the budget that they're going to continue to develop on that property. And so my issue with it is that I feel that we need to push back on some of the vendors that are currently in that space, because I feel like it's beautiful what they've done down Bass Lake and in the actual space where Brookdale used to be. And some of the vendors that are there are not keeping up with the standards. And so there's a particular store I feel is an eyesore. And I feel that our leadership should be pushing back and ensuring that they're maintaining their space. Because when people come into our city, we want them to have a good impression of our city. And if they're not keeping up with the parking lot or just the overall image, then it detracts people from coming to shop there or spend time there. And then I also like to see more, as they're bringing in more businesses, see more restaurants and more things for families and people to do recreationally.
Oh,
I feel oftentimes I have to take my family out of the city to do things, and I know when I was growing up, there was the bowling alley, we had the old movie theater, scoreboard, we were always there, or Denny's or Perkins, and so I'd like to see more sit-down family restaurants and more recreational opportunities.
Yeah, and the city council gets involved in that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, another issue that you'd like to share?
Sure. One of the ones that stuck out to me also was the increased communication between citizens and the council.
Yes, yes.
So if I were to be elected, that'd be something that I'd be really passionate about, and making sure as I'm door knocking, I'm hearing that some people don't feel that their voices are being heard. And so I feel the city does do a good job. I've seen this summer where they've had different events that people can engage with council members. So I do appreciate that. I think we can go one step further by providing a variety of opportunities. So we know that all of our community members have different obligations, different job schedules. So if we could provide things during the weeknights, during the weekends, early morning, or not early morning, early afternoon, evening. So a variety in what we're offering, opportunities to have those engagements, but then also do different things, workshops, small group, town halls, so that we're getting variety of feedback from all over the city. And then also utilizing social media. I'm a part of the Friends of Brooklyn Center, which I feel is great because I'm hearing about what things people are concerned about and all the great things that are happening in the city. And so I think we could use social media more to engage with the citizens.
Yeah, I think some cities are starting to really focus on that issue now. How does Brooklyn Center use that issue now to reach out?
Use the issue? What do you say?
Social media.
I know we have our website, but I don't think there's an official Facebook page that people they ask. There may be. I know like the City of Brooklyn Center has a page, but I don't think there's like interaction where if a citizen posts a issue and then somebody's there to answer it. So, so I feel we need to increase that. Presence.
And a last issue that you want to talk about?
So one of the special issues that I found in monitoring the social media feedback that I'm getting and also door knocking is the water quality. And so a lot of people are having a smell, like a chlorine smell, or a bad taste, and or changing of color of their water. And this is something that's been happening over the last few months. And so I know we have the water treatment that just opened recently, so I don't know if that's what's causing it. I know that it's going to be addressed at the City Council meeting on the 12th, which I plan to attend to see what they're planning to do about it. But if I were to be on the council, I definitely think that a study needs to be done to find out what the issue is, because I don't think it's fair that people have to buy bottled water. So that's one of the special issues that's come up.
And anything particular that you've heard? Nope, I'm going to stop myself. I'm going to take this part out. Now I want to be sure that you have enough time to tell people out there from Brooklyn Center why they should vote for you on November 8th when they go into the voting booth. Why should they check your name?
Sure. I'm very passionate about Brooklyn Center, and growing up in Brooklyn Center was a great city to grow up in. I've lived abroad, I've lived in other states, and my husband and I chose to buy our home in Brooklyn Center, raise our family in Brooklyn Center. And so I just want to ensure that we continue to thrive as a community, we can continue to attract new businesses and citizens that can help our community thrive. So, and I am very open and want to be communicative, so please feel free to Facebook me, email me, call me. I would be available for you.
Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing. Now we'll move on to Julie Deshler from Crystal, and you're in
Ward 4.
Ward 4. Make sure we identify for people out there.
We're from friendly Ward 4. I like to say. But yes, my name is Julie Deshler. I've lived in Crystal, Minnesota about 11 years now. I own a single family home there, and raised a daughter, Kendra. She has since grown up and moved on now, but I still have 2 dogs and a cat, and I really have enjoyed living in Crystal. and representing the residents on the city council. I think that maybe one of the reasons I initially ran was when I was just purchasing my home, there was a lot of foreclosures in the area.
Oh, right.
A lot of blighted properties that were kind of just seemed to have unkept lawns and just unsightly. And so I was nervous about the property value for the home I just purchased. And I thought, you know, rather than kind of just grouse about it, I was going to throw my hat in the ring to run for city council and try to make a difference in terms of seeing what we could do to manage some of these blighted properties. And so, you know, I won in 2010, filling a special election seat for somebody who had retired because of illness, and then ran unopposed in 2012, which was pretty easy to win. And now I'm running again in 2016.
Well, let's start out with an issue that you'd like to share with our audience.
You know, I'm kind of a proponent for just plain old common sense government. You know, not always having to reinvent the wheel or buy a new wheel. Sometimes we just have to add air to the wheel we already have and find out that it works just fine. I'm a big advocate for our community. I'm very proud of our community, proud of our residents, and I like to be very responsive to any of their concerns or their needs. So I'm hopeful that they've found that I've delivered that for them. Another one of my concerns is, years ago our city started a process of reconstructing the streets, the major streets. And they did it in a series of 16 phases. So we're on phase 15 now. So we're completely tearing out the streets, putting new curb and gutter in, checking all the gas main lines, the water main lines, the sewer lines. And so we're finishing phase 15 this year, and then next year it'll be in the Skyway area, the area that I live in. And it really does wonders for the look and appearance of the neighborhood.
Yes,
but more importantly, it maintains the infrastructure of our community. So that's been a project that I've really admired the previous council members for starting, and I've been glad to be able to see that through. Another one of my passions also is the redevelopment to particularly Bass Lake and 81. So while I love the businesses and some of the properties along, they certainly could use a little facelift. So we are going to start planning and designing some things that we as a city could do along with Hennepin County. And Hennepin County was a great partner in helping us design a new look, a streetscape, if you will, for that area from Bass Lake, Highway 81 over to Broadway, along Bass Lake Road. So we're going to start implementing some of those more fancy looks, if you will, starting in spring of 2017. Making some curb cutouts so the shops have a little bit more appeal for the residents to, be able to pop in, pop in and do, shop and then duck out again. And then, of course, as you know, one of my other passions is the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program. I started that kind of for our 4 communities, Crystal, Robbinsdale, Golden Valley, and I've gotten to know a lot of wonderful people, a lot of wonderful military families that have served our country. So those are some of the things that I've been very passionate about and continue to work on.
Is there any particular area where you'd like to see something changed?
Well, the streetscape on Bass Lake Road. I'm interested to see how the Blue Line extension shakes out. It's a plan in progress. It's definitely going to go right through the middle of Crystal. And particularly Ward 4 is where the proposed station is, station is going to be. And so it'll be based on people way above my pay grade in terms of financing it. But I look forward to seeing what that could bring to our community in terms of attracting some new residents, attracting new businesses. The speculation is that it should be operational in 2021. But there's some hurdles to kind of cross ahead of that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that opportunity for our community.
a change maybe that the whole area needs from what people I've talked to.
You know, there's people for it and there's
Right,
people against
and
it.
strongly
you know,
both ways.
and very strongly
Yeah.
both ways. But I would say, I was talking to an older gentleman last night. He told me he was 79. And I really thought he was going to tell me when I was out door knocking that he was opposed to it. He
Right.
said, I can't wait until the light rail comes. So that kind of took me off
Right.
guard. I can take the train and go see a ball game. You know,
Right.
so there's lots of different reasons people want it.
Yeah, and as on the city council, you need to reflect on all of that. But there have been a lot of opportunities for input for people into that process,
There
right?
have been many, many, many. Yep. And we as a city, you know, you were saying about community engagement.
Right.
You know, we've had symposiums about traffic, for instance. We've had many planning meetings about potential park improvements to our park,
Oh,
to
right,
our
right.
Becker Park, one of our showcase parks. And we have social media. We have a Facebook page. We have a quarterly newsletter.
Ah.
I mean, we've tried the best we can in any and all ways we can think of to reach out
Right.
and be able to listen and hear the residents. And of course, they're always free to come to council meetings and
Right.
speak at open forum. We have one session a month where we sit in a conference room. We have the city manager. So if a resident is uncomfortable talking in front of a camera at a council meeting, we always make time to have just a citizen engagement period.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because
Okay.
I want you to have the time to tell the people out from Crystal Ward 4 why they should vote for you on November 8th.
I think you should vote for me because I really try to bring a common sense approach to the government. I've been very, very responsive to any and all resident and business inquiries in our community. I am a member of the Crystal Rotary Club, Crystal Lions Club, the Women's VFW Auxiliary. I'm Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. So I'm very, very vested in our community, and I'm always here to listen.
Very good. Thank
you.
you. Now we'll move to Susan Pha, and I'll let you introduce yourself out to our wider audience and tell them a little bit about you and your background and why that's gotten you ready to be on your city council.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here tonight. I really appreciate that.
Ah.
I'm a wife and a mother of 2 boys and 2 girls.
Ah.
My oldest is 21 in
Uh-huh.
college, and my youngest is 4.
Ah.
You know, I'm a volunteer. I volunteer quite a bit in the
Uh-huh.
community. My work in the community is my passion. And so it's my work in the community that really has driven me to seek the seat here at the City Council. Some of my work that I've done in the community that has prepared me for this is being the current Director of Project Success,
Okay.
which is a youth empowerment project that's across the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. We work with kids doing speaking engagements, workshops at colleges, high school, grade schools, nonprofit organizations in the community at large, just trying to empower them to meet their goals,
Right.
set those goals, meet those goals, and achieve success for themselves. Also, I'm a mentor with a group of university young ladies over at the University of Minnesota. And I've been a mentor with Girl Scout River Valley as well. I've enjoyed that. I think mentorship is really important for our youth. I've also been the chair of the Affordable Housing Task Force here in the Twin Cities. And our goal for that particular task force was to address housing needs,
Right.
collaborate with federal, state, local agencies to find solutions for our housing
Right.
problems. And then I also have served on many executive boards, professional and nonprofits here in the Twin Cities. Those experiences and in strategy and planning for the
Right.
future has really prepared me for my work in my office, and I'm seeking.
Right.
But it really has been my work in the community that has driven me to believe that if I really want to make the change I want to see in my community, it needs to come from elected officials in our
Right.
city as well,
Right.
that are invested in this city, know the concerns of the residents, and are willing to listen and
Right.
work with residents on those things. I've worked in the community for over a decade, and I find that it's always hard to talk to our elected officials. So it's being that change that you finally want to see. You wait for someone
Right.
to be a champion for the things you care about, and so now it's just being that champion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what issues would you like to share with our audience?
Sure. So a couple of things I'm really passionate about and I care about here in the city is the current development projects here. We've got the new library in Brooklyn Park, which is actually just a couple blocks from my house. So development like that, I think, really contributes to our community. So the things I'm excited here are the developments that we're doing, like the library, and then also at North Hennepin College, they're expanding their campus. Learning and education and training is something that I think is essential. I talk a lot about that in my youth engagement because that really does develop our youth for the future, for their future.
Oh, definitely.
For success. And so North Hennepin's expansion has been something that I think is really great for our community. Another thing I really care about is some of the new development in our city. That's always great to have new development here, whether it's housing or it's business commercial space, because we do still have a lot of unused land that can add to our tax base. So excited about that.
Are there any particular issues about redevelopment that you'd like to share with us?
I love all the new development that's happening, but I would actually really like some redevelopment south of 85th as well. I live south of 85th, and it'd be nice to kind of get a little facelift. It's kind of getting old, but Brooklyn Park is such a beautiful city. It is such a wonderful city, and it's only as beautiful as if we take care of it. We have to take personal responsibility to take care of our city.
Definitely. And then do you have another issue that you want to share?
So one thing that I really care about is also the light rail that's coming through. That's a big issue right now in our city. I live about 2-3 blocks from the light rail that's going to be built, so I will be definitely impacted by the light rail. But although I worry about some of the planning for it, as most of the residents in my district do, I'm taking a very personal approach to making sure that my voice gets heard on the planning, as I encourage other people to do as well. Because we only have input if we actually go out there and make sure that our voices are heard and our ideas are heard. And so I'm excited about it, though. I think it will give a lot of transportation accessibility for our young people, for our youth, also for our seniors, and then also for people that can't afford a vehicle. So it will open up a lot of opportunities, create a lot more accessibility to jobs and education. Exactly.
And then if you want to tell the people in Brooklyn Park why they should vote for you on November 8th.
So, in closing, I hope that that the viewers out there have learned a little bit about me, what I care about, why I'm running for City Council. Because I really do want to make a difference in our community. I care about the future for us, for our children. I want to make sure and ensure that they have the opportunities to really prosper and to live to their full potential. One of the biggest things that I hear from people while I'm door knocking is that they feel like the City Council and our elected officials don't actually listen to them, involve them, and include them in the actual decisions that are made in our city that affects them. And that's one of my biggest things about why I'm running as well, because I have often felt that same way. So I want that opportunity to be able to represent you, because I do know how it feels to not feel like you're being represented, that you're being heard, or that you're even considered significant in the whole landscape of everything in your own city. So I want to be that voice for you. I will listen to you. I will fight for the issues that you care about. And I will make sure that this city will create opportunities that all of us, all families, can prosper. Thank you.
Good, thank you. And then I'll ask each of you to think a little bit if there's something interesting as you've been door knocking or talking to people, something interesting that's happened. Anything that comes to mind, or?
You know, I really appreciate when somebody answers the door and they smile.
Right.
I have found oftentimes that they're wary of being interrupted by either door-to-door salespeople
Right.
or politicians or whatever. So I've always added a recipe onto my literature.
Oh, that's fun.
So this year it's popovers, and people are getting kind of a kick out of that. So
Oh, that's kind of fun. I like that idea.
I'll give you a recipe before I
Okay.
leave.
Good. Anything that you can reflect on as you've been talking to lots of people?
You know, I've been door knocking since the beginning of this year. Door knockings are really big for me. So I've personally hit over 1,000 doors. I've enjoyed talking to people. I would say I have a lot of people in between, but the two on two separate ends have been one lady I met, Mary. Hi, Mary. And as soon as I knocked her door, she came out and just with this smile and said, Susan Pa, and gave me this hug because she had been following my city council run.
Right.
And she says, I'm voting for you in the primaries and I hope you win. Wait, just a minute, I'm gonna go grab you a check. And literally went inside, grabbed a check for me, came out and said, I support you.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it was really great. And then another one that I met was totally opposite. Disagreed with me just about everything we talked about, but we had such a great conversation. We stood there in front of his garage, a couple, a man and a woman, and we debated for like 30 minutes. But it was very interesting. We both respected each other.
Give Marquita a chance. You have an idea to share?
Yeah, so I've as well experienced, different reactions. Some people don't really want to talk. They want to just a quick, why are you here? And then there's others that want to spend a long time with you. And so I like both because sometimes you have to keep moving so you can cover as much ground as possible that day. But I have found that it's the value in speaking to residents, especially those that have been in the city for so long. And I've seen a lot of similar themes about what the concerns are for citizens. So I've really enjoyed it.
Good learning experience. Well, we want to encourage those of you out there to, hopefully you took down names and hopefully you took down names and email addresses and phone numbers, so if they're in your city, you can call them with questions, give them your thoughts and your ideas, and help you get ready to vote on November 8th. And we'll ask you to keep tuning in each week, because next week again we'll have another group of City Council people on. We hope that you will join us, and we'll be back to see you. Bye.